Blessings. Welcome to Breathwork for Leaders, Nervous System Mastery with no other than Heather and Ferri. Here's a couple notes. We're on video number 1. Grab a notebook, grab some water, grab coffee. What you're going to learn in the first 7 videos of this series is you're going to learn different patterns for different reasons that can enhance immune system, energy boost. And so that's going to equal 30 minutes that you can do 3 times a week, every day. Number 8 video is working up to understand science, to understand what you're looking for in these breath patterns, and also to train in these breath patterns. So then in video 8, now we have a mini series I call the travel breath work for leaders, because yes, you shouldn't just be sitting in a yoga studio doing breath work. Breath work is taught so that when you're sitting at the airport, if you saw me, I'd be doing one nostril, I'll be doing breath work. I'd even get on the floor and start stretching. No joke. This is lifestyle. And when leaders start to understand that this isn't just for retreats, that this is lifestyle, it's going to shift their perspective in the meetings with me about how we create new earth businesses franchise. Video 9. So video 8 is 20 minutes long. And so what you can do is you can do it while you're traveling, or you can switch off from the 30 minutes and then the next day do 20 minutes. You're going to start to figure out with me how to formulate a game plan with breath work. Video 9, which is the completion of this introductory foundation, is one of the PTSD breath patterns that I teach in the brain protocols, and that's an 11-minute protocol. That is very important. I don't care if you think I don't come from trauma, doesn't matter. We live in traumatic times, and that's a sad thing. That when we turn on social media, the news, everything is always trauma, always a soap opera. And so we really want to utilize our time, our focus, and our energy wisely so we can be the game changers of this new earth. So that is the sequence. What I want to remind you is that you may say, well, I know how to do this breath exercise. I know how to do that breath exercise. When you train as a professional dancer, which was what I was, you don't go into the ballet class saying, I already know how to do a plie. You are learning and structuring muscles so that when you do those leaps, 8 shows a week, you're not getting injured because you know how to land properly and you know how to jump properly. So I am a master teacher. This foundation of 9 videos is just the beginning. There's so much more we can do. In fact, I could do a library of probably 50 videos on just breath. Yes. So for me, this is just introductory because this is what leaders can bring into teamwork and strategize to understand it. This is what educational people can bring into the classroom and strategize with somebody like me who's been in these sectors to help you formulate the best curriculum. Why not be the best? Why not be the best in your lane moving into the new earth? And the best means healthy systems, prosperity for everybody. This is a new paradigm shift. So I just wanted to begin. I'm not teaching as if we're just sitting here and doing the breath exercises together. I want you to understand what you're doing and why you're doing it, because it becomes a toolkit that you have for life, that eventually your leadership team has. It's not something they do every now and then. You know, when you hire me to come in for a weekend retreat, we're doing things where I can read your energy and I'm pulling from different parts of the library. But when you're doing this 9 series with your team, you're restructuring patterns of how you start meetings, how you finish meetings, how you address conflict. And it takes practice, and we all fail at it. and then we go back. Breath work, when you read my books, book number 1, Transcending Victim to Goddess, part 2's coming out soon. When you read my books, breath is the foundation to get into pain, to get into any root trauma, to then advance. And there are hundreds of breath patterns. And to be honest with you, I have picked and chosen specific ones at certain times. But when you're moving the physical body and you're releasing trauma out, you do need to master breath. And I'll get into that in video 9. So welcome. This is my introduction. I will not have this introduction in each video. I will get right to the assignments. I feel like this is like college class, right? The Ferri University. Basically, we're at the Ferri University. And maybe the next program will be about fairies. I don't know. But for this program, your breath is your first teacher. One nostril breath work for trauma healing and leadership clarity. Okay. And I'm going to put my notes right here. Oh, actually, I have to. So I'm going to be staring at the screen because I want to just go through this like I would if I was in a university. So I want you to understand breath matters for leaders. Breath is the fastest way to access the nervous system. 2, leaders carry stress, responsibility, and emotional load. Without breath awareness, clarity collapses. 4, with breath awareness, intuition sharpens. We're building this up. Eventually, when CEOs would hire me, I remember a woman in California literally leaving a conference room, going into honestly like a telephone booth to do a 50-minute session. We're working extensively on breath patterns to release stress, to release emotions, to get you back into what you need to expand, to address whatever you need to address. There's a lot of responsibility that's held with especially management. And then if management's not in the right place, it affects obviously down the line. So this is why I teach breathwork to lead in our lives. It's the first leading tool. It's the first gift we're given, and it's the greatest gift we're giving. And we're going to start with one nostril breathing. You might have done it many times in yoga class. We're going to go back to the basics. You're sitting in a chair today. We're going to be sitting in a chair through the whole series. And this is so that we can really isolate certain areas of the brain. When the legs are crossed in yoga style, we're initiating both right and left hemispheres of the brain. And if you do have a lot of unresolved trauma that maybe you're not aware of, what happens in the body is the breath work can become overwhelming because the body's trying to deal with other things that you're not even aware of. So you may start to feel back pain. Your hip may start to hurt. So when we sit in a chair with the feet parallel, and if you hire me to come in person, we will work on the details of your alignment because everybody has stored, blocks and energy. That's what makes us unique. But for now, you want to sit as parallel as possible through each video. You want to have a notebook and pen, and you don't want to take notes. What you want to do is tomorrow, play this video again, take the notes so you have them in a notebook. You wrote them down so your brain is starting to process them. You understand the breath work so that you can continue to do until we get to video 2, which is on Wednesday. So that's how we're going to work this, just like if you were in a university class with me. One nostril breathing, we're going to use the pointer finger, which deals with intelligence, just to cover. And then the other hand will be on the belly. And we want to make sure the belly is moving in the right direction. If you find this challenging, it's okay. Just stick with it. But we do need to get the muscles working in the right way. And if you find that it's just too challenging, then you probably need private instruction. And trust me, I've worked with even medical doctors that had trouble with breath patterns because they had trauma stored and they weren't aware of it. So much chronic stress has built up. But when we're taking an inhale, we're going to stay basic for this series. The belly is expanding, the sides of the ribs and the lower back. What I find in person when working with people is they're only breathing half of their capacity, and it deals with how the body is moving. And so there's really no breath in the lower back and the kidneys. And some people are very caught in the chest. shallow breathers. So we want to work the lower end of it. So that's why when I say in the beginning, your belly button is your powerhouse. We learn that in chakra, and so we want it to start to move because we have all these nerve endings. When you're starting to move that breath in the belly, already you're releasing stress. You're providing blood to organs, the lower organs. And you're also starting on each exhale, providing, adequate blood to the heart, thyroid, and, obviously to the brain and the pituitary and pineal. So first, I'm going to discuss some things, and then we're going to do it together. This is a 6-minute breath video, 3 minutes left breath nostril, 3 minutes right breath nostril. The left, when you're opening up the left side, you're activating the parasympathetic nervous system, reducing stress, confusion, and anger. It teaches the body to soften. When you're opening up the right side, you're activating mental focus, sharpen clarity, and supporting decision-making. These are 2 pathways that there are hundreds of scientific breath patterns. And I say that not to overwhelm you. I say that to excite you about diving into the breath, educating yourself, how it leads to movement, how it leads to expansion and intuition, how it leads to understanding you and your story, and not focusing on everybody else's story. If you're called to deepen this work, you can do live Zoom workshops with me, retreats, or private sessions. Just reach out at youmatter108@gmail.com. Put in the subject line, breathwork for leaders, nervous system mastery with Heather and Ferri, because there's a lot going on this year, and it just allows me to put you in that lane. So as we begin, no sound. When you're working in this with homework, no sound. You can go outside, sit under a tree, and if a bird's chirping, that's fine. If a squirrel comes up, that's fine, but no music. There is a deep purpose in this foundation of getting comfortable with hearing your own breath pattern. It's connected to hearing what your heart needs to know or heal or say. Okay, so that was a lot. I'm going to focus in. I'm going to get my timer out so I can guide you. So I'm going to do 3 minutes with you and hold space. I'm going to look at the screen. You can either look back or you can close your eyes, whatever feels comfortable to you. 3 minutes on each side, and then we're done. Video 2 will be on Wednesday. It's called Fire Breath for Trauma Release and Leadership Creativity. Let's begin. Covering the right nostril, left hand on the belly, and begin breathing long and deep, opening up the left nostril. If it's congestion, grab a tissue and just get back in when you can. And on your next exhale, bring the hands down on your lap and just take a moment to observe if that was easy, difficult, if you felt like your breath was tight, because this is how you're going to measure the progress each day as you practice it. And you're going to notice on the days that something happens, you get triggered or you're stressed out, you hear about bad news, that you're going to notice a breath change. And that's how you're going to start to become your own healer scientist. Okay. Let's go onto the other side. Cover the left nostril, right hand over the belly, and begin breathing long and deep. On your next exhale, gently relax. And basically just place one hand over your heart and just sort of send some loving energy to yourself, because doing this work is action, taking action in self-love. Here are my notes. With one nostril breathing, you can definitely work up time. A lot of people have this idea that they don't have enough time, and I would say delete TV, some social media, and gain some time. Because this, if you want to master your life, you have to master your breath. And it's not a slogan, it's not that simple. A lot of people, unfortunately, do have different traumas and pains that they're hiding with sugar and prescription addictions and alcoholism. And you will learn on my channel, Heather and Ferri, and my book series, that I was a sugar addict. So I speak being in that lane as well. You can work up to 11 minutes on each side. It's very important if you want to really, really dive into mastery. But if that seems too daunting, it's really important to be consistent every day, because life is going to happen. It's going to throw you things that you don't even expect. And just like I trained as a professional dancer every day going back to the ballet bar, if I had said, well, I know that routine, I don't need to do it again, I would never have been a professional dancer. And I'm going to tell you that training as a professional dancer is how I became masterful at 8 to 10 sciences that need to be trained organically into one. So, whatever lane you're in, you could be in finances, construction. This expands you. This expands your abilities to work more effectively, have better communication skills, both with your employees and with your family. But 3 minutes every day starts to build a pattern. Wednesday, we start fire breath. Start to keep a journal and a notebook, and take the time to read the description of this series, this 9 video series, Breathwork for Leaders, Nervous System Mastery. Read through it so you understand the course that you're taking with what I call the Ferri University. I wish you many blessings. Thank you so much. And if you feel called to subscribe, maybe, I don't even know, hit the like button or the button that lets you know. You're basically going to know each video is going to come up Monday and Wednesdays at 6 a.m. And obviously the video will sit there on my YouTube channel for when it's designed for you to do it. So maybe 6 a.m. is not doable for you. Maybe it's at noon. Maybe it's lunchtime. That's a perfect time for definitely corporate people or people who have, scheduling, or maybe it's after dinner. But for right now, that's when these videos will come up. And if you want to share anything in the comments below, that just feeds the energy of the channel and it ignites me into knowing what is the next course that I will present. So many blessings.